Alright, what's going on everyone? This is Zen here from Zen Multiverse and I hope you're having a great day. So we have some news based on this poster, but before we get into that, time to hit that intro.
This one is for the teacher who passed me the math test face down and didn't think I was gonna become successful. This is for 9 times 9 equals 81.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see.
Let's go!
Alright, team. So if we look at this poster, we see a couple things. We see Morbius, right? This news has everything to do with Morbius, but everything to do with connections and bridges. So one of the things that we see is the Amazing Spider-Man. Okay, and we recently saw Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man No Way Home. But we also see someone else here. Gwen Stacy, right? And Gwen Stacy is here. I'm kind of getting hyped because it lets us know a couple of things that Morbius, when we saw Morbius we saw the trailer of Morbius and we saw the Spider-Man in the background, that actually was Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Then that also leads into another question. That also leads into another connection. That means that Morbius is in the same universe as Andrew Garfield. Not finished yet. That also means, team, that that Venom is in that same universe as well, too. Which makes perfect sense because Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man was on the dark side, right? When I say on the dark side, it wasn't the same as Spider-Man, right? And I mean Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is very different. And here's the thing, we saw a good amount of those villains. We saw a mix of those villains in No Way Home, but it's pretty cool to see, right? That we have extended lore, because now I'm wondering, will we see Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man again? And if we do, will he eventually become Venom or not, right? And at the end of Venom, right, and at the end of No Way Home, spoiler alert, we basically see that Eddie Brock and Venom left a piece of the symbiote in the MCU universe, right? And in the Sonyverse, I'm assuming that Venom came back, right? Now, I think that this was not originally written that way, but I think they did this, them delaying things so many times, they probably did some reshoots to make smarter connections, right? Smarter connections where everything now kind of makes sense, right? Where they could bring in Andrew Garfield again and say like X, Y, and Z is happening, right? I think it's pretty phenomenal. I think it's pretty dope that they're doing this. One question that I have is they're showing him in the center, right? They're showing him in the center, and I wonder if we're gonna see Gwen Stacy again, right? We know she obviously died, but are we gonna see her in some type of way? Is why they're giving off this picture, right? Maybe, maybe not, right? Um, I want to know what you guys think about this, right? It's because it's not that I don't have theories. It's just that it seems pretty explanatory right now. From this poster, Morbius is in the same universe as Andrew Garfield, and they're showing highlights of this world, right? The highlights of this world comes in the form of Andrew Garfield, Gwen Stacy, as kind of like legacy events that happen, right? We also see Rhino too, right? Um, and Rhino appeared in the Amazing Spider-Man. The one question that I have that's still lingering a little bit um, is Vulture. We saw Vulture uh, in the MCU universe, and we also see him here in the trailer. So the question, and well, not really a question. Well, the question is that the same one, right? And if it's not, I think the answer to that is very simple, right? Especially when we experience things like No Way Home and also Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, that's simply a variant version of Vulture that's doing the same thing but happens to look exactly the same, right? I think a lot of the times when we saw variants, we saw variants that do not look exactly the same. But who's to say that they they won't look exactly the same? The reason why we know this is true is that if you watch Loki, we've seen variants of Loki that look vastly different, right? Um, for example, his female counterpart. But we also seen that president vote for me Loki, who looks exactly like the Loki that we know in the MCU, right? Well, they're all part of that MCU, but they look exactly the same. So I think um, that's an easy answer, right? That could be an easy, unless Marvel and Sony want to go a different route and do something a little bit more complicated that he traversed into this world somehow. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to try to go with the easiest explanation, and that comes in the form of that's a variant. The end, right? But then the but then the follow-up question is how are they going to say it's a variant, right? Unless we get some kind of interaction with like someone and they say something like, I believe that there's one of you in another universe, and he's like, oh yeah, I must be the better one or something of that nature. But anyway, this poster is what this episode is really about, that there is connections and there is bridges. Now everything is not 100% confirmed yet, so take this with a grain of salt, but you can also take this as a semi-absolute because they're all in the same poster, and this is an official poster. It's not a fan poster itself, right? But let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Please be sure to drop a like to support the channel. And this is Zen from Zen Multiverse saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying the content, you already know what to do. And I'll catch you all later for the next one. Later, everyone.